Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. Please let me know if you guys can hear me. Running a little late today because of some technical difficulties, but thankfully we got that sorted out. So here we are today, Game Week 29, double Game Week 29. Right, this is gonna shape up to be a really big double game week, and I do have a bit of an issue. Um, in that I still haven't confirmed my second transfer. Right, so where I am at this point in time is I've already done Zinchenko to Luke Shaw, so that's my first transfer, and my second transfer is still up in the air. I have two free transfers, so it will still be for free, but I haven't decided. I could go for a defensive transfer. I could go for Saka to Bruno Fernandes. There's so many ways I could play this. So I'm having a little bit of a headache. Hopefully you guys in the chat can help me to sort that out. We have quite a bit of content planned in this stream as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy the content that will be on this stream. Right, some of you guys in the chat already. AA on hi FPL consult. Should I keep my Arsenal players? If you think if you think that Arsenal players will do well, then by all means keep your Arsenal players, right? My thoughts right now is that I do want to keep Saka, even though I can do Saka to Bruno Fernandes for free. Right, that's what I'm thinking at this point. I'm not too fond of Bruno Fernandes against. I know he has a double game week, but Newcastle away, Brentford at home don't seem like there's going to be a lot of goals in there. So at this point, I still favor Saka a little bit more. It could change. Hopefully, I come to a decision before the deadline. I mean, I definitely have to. Right, thank you guys for coming early as well. It's bright and early today. We are 3 hours before the deadline. Right, there's also some leaks. I'll share with you guys some leaks on Twitter as well. Ruhil says, who is the captain? We'll have a bit of captaincy discussion as well. I did up the metrics. The metrics actually got Saka for last week. Right, the metrics that I did put Saka as first choice for last week in Game Week 28. But of course, I didn't go for Saka. I went for Ivan Toney last week. If you guys were following my team, I went for Ivan Toney last week. That didn't work out very well. Haaland is my captain. I'm going to the City game. Let's go. I honestly think that is gonna. This is the first time that in a Man City versus Liverpool clash that I have literally no players in that game. Alright, I'm not sure about you guys, but that is a little bit weird. But at least I can just enjoy the game, whatever the result. Ben Block says, what would your free hit draft look like as I'm doing that? I released a video yesterday using the draft Haaland predicted points. I think my free hit would be pretty similar to that one. Right, that one is called the Game Week 29, double Game Week 29 highest predicted points team. Saka to McAllister, Zinchenko to Shaw, Henry to Emerson -8. Saka to McAllister is fine. Zinchenko to Shaw is fine as well. Henry to Emerson for -8, probably for another -4. I probably wouldn't. Almiron to who with 6 mil in the bank. 6 mil in the bank. Let's take a look. I mean, ideally you would get Harvey Barnes, but he's 6.7. Harvey Barnes is 6.7. As you guys can see, I have one free transfer. Right, so I am thinking whether I should do Rico Henry out or Saka out. I will have to decide this by the end of the stream, so that is the decision that I actually can't put my head around it at this point in time. And I can bring Chilwell in for a -4. Chilwell for Zinchenko. I actually prefer Shaw for Zinchenko, if I'm being honest. Chilwell will be good for this week, but I think moving forward, game week 30, game week 31, I think we could potentially see him get rested there. So I always back my safe players. KDB, DS, but I always said before the break I would cap Haaland. At this point, okay, wait. Let me share with you guys the leak. Right, let's start with the leak, and it is by FPL Focal. Alright, so this is I think Focal posted this yesterday so that it wouldn't clash with the April Fools, or it would be early in the day so that people wouldn't think that this is an April Fool's joke. But the source is actually Fousley, who got the game week 15 call correct as well. Right, he got the game week 15 call that Haaland wouldn't start correct as well. Right, so I guess Focal has trusted this source. So Haaland is out for tomorrow's game against Liverpool. Groin injury wouldn't be risked. Right, so I guess that is what we know right now. I think for those of you with Haaland, I probably would just I think what we saw from the press conferences, or what we heard from the press conferences, was that he's likely going to be fit in time for the Southampton game. I mean, it was looking more promising that he would start this Liverpool game. But if what Fousley says is true, then maybe we keep Haaland. If I had Haaland at this point in time, I think he will be alright for game week 30. So in that case, I wouldn't want to waste the transfer to bring him back in. But that may mean that I have to sacrifice the bench boost. Right, so that's something that you guys with Haaland would have to consider. It is a little bit unlucky. It is a little bit unlucky, but I won't leave this on the screen for too long, right? But basically, Focal says that Haaland is out, so we'll make of that what you will. But I think at this point in time, because most of us don't have Haaland, or at least the FPL managers who sold Haaland last week, right? You don't have Haaland, then I guess you don't have to worry about bringing him in for the time being. Assuming you already weren't intending to bring him in this week, that is. Right. Zinchenko to Castagna worth a -4. I'm actually considering Castagna myself. I could go Rico. I have one more free transfer. If I don't want to sell Saka, if I want to keep Saka, then Rico Henry to Castagna is also a move that I could make. Right, but I just don't trust the Leicester defense enough, and Castagna used to be a pretty decent FPL asset because of his attacking threat, but of late I don't think I've seen enough from Castagna to think that he is performing at the level that we used to see him. So I guess I wouldn't make that move. If you're selling Zinchenko, I'd probably go for Shaw, maybe Chilwell if you don't have already, but yeah, I don't think Castagna is worth it. I probably wouldn't go Castagna myself. I think Rico Henry to Zuma, maybe I would go there. Shaw in for Henry or Gabriel. Don't see Brentford keeping a clean sheet. Same here. Which is why I think I'm better off selling Rico Henry than selling Saka for Bruno Fernandes, if I'm honest. If I had the chance to reverse my transfer, would I do Rico Henry to Shaw? I probably wouldn't. Right, budget wise, I'll show you guys my transfer plans later on, but I can actually get to a 10-man game week 34 team, double game week 34 team. I can get to 10 double game week players in game week 34 with just free transfers, taking one hit from now until game week 34. Right, so I'm pretty happy with my plans at this point in time. I'll show you guys. But it also means that I have to decide whether if I make a defensive transfer this week, then I book in an extra -4. Right, I'll show you guys later on. But basically, I could just stick to the plan. I could just bottle it and go Saka to Bruno Fernandes. Start Saka or Haaland. Definitely Saka. Definitely Saka. I don't like to take out a double game week player, but Henry to Estupinian would pay off long term. Yeah, I think Henry to Estupinian is alright. If you don't have Estupinian, I think it's straightforward enough. Luke Eiling or Pedro Porro. Porro is pretty much secured that spot because of Emerson Royale's injury. So, but Spurs don't have a double game week anymore, right? And I know Leeds have a double now. Probably wouldn't go for either of them this week if I'm honest. I'll go for a doubler. Haaland isn't flagged red on the app. On the app, Haaland is yellow. If Haaland doesn't play, my vice captain is McAllister. Yeah, Haaland isn't red flagged, right? Focal just has that graphic customized by himself. But basically, he tweeted out that Haaland isn't going to feature today. I mean, whether it's true or not, we will see soon. We will see soon. But yeah, I think I'm not going to put too much stress on that because I don't have Haaland right now. If you guys have Haaland, maybe you bench him and save the bench boost. Yeah, possibly. I think selling him this week essentially means that you have to buy him back next week. So probably wouldn't want. It's a tricky situation. Right. Yeah, so the bench boost is active. I'll cover a little bit of my thought process right now, right? For those of you guys on the stream, before other people stream in, and then we can move on to the content that we have for today, which is discussing a little bit about chip strategy. Because if you are on a free hit 32, it allows you to bring in Manchester United assets now. But if you aren't on a free hit 32, then you probably can't bring in your Manchester or that many Manchester United assets now, right? So we'll discuss that in a little bit, but I'll explain my thought process right now. So basically, I've gone Zinchenko to Shaw, right? So that's my first transfer. I have another free transfer, right? But because of my transfer plans, right, I actually have to either use it on Saka to Bruno Fernandes, or else if I do Henry to maybe Zuma, right, or someone else, I'll book in an extra -4. So I honestly don't know which way it'll swing. If I do Henry to Zuma, I will play that defender for game weeks 29, game week 30, game week 31. So if in this span of 3 game weeks, I feel like Zuma outscores Rico Henry, which I actually do think so, right, then the -4 hit would make sense. So I think I may do that. I may go Rico Henry to Zuma. Yeah, but basically it books in an extra -4, which I'm not too fond of. And you guys will see later when I reveal my transfer plans for basically the rest of the season up till 34. Fulham defender or Crystal Palace defender for game week 30 to game week 32. Don't really like both, to be honest. If I'm to go for a defender from game week 30 to game week 32, it may be a West Ham defender, if I'm honest. It may be a West Ham defender. Matthew says, early team news on Haaland to break FPL again. Probably. If I stream that long, I mean, I'm not sure how long we're going to stream today, maybe an hour or two. But if I stream all the way and I can't decide what I'm going to do, maybe we will stream until we get the early team news from Team News and Ticks. Maybe. I'm still convinced Haaland plays. Still convinced he scores 3. I mean, we'll see. Let's see. Is Shaw worth a -4? I think Shaw is worth a -4. That doesn't pay off this week, But I think in the long run, it will pay off. Right? I think in the long run, that move pays off. I already cannot get in Haaland for Tony. 1-to-1 means I'll be taking hits in game week 30. If you're taking a hit to bring Haaland in for Tony next week, based on your existing transfers already, then maybe you move that hit forward now, right? To take exactly as you mentioned, right? Should I still bring in Bruno for Saka? This is a -4 hit for the move. Right, Bruno to Saka for a -4 is... I'm already considering keeping Saka for free, right? Basically, I can do Saka to Bruno for free, but I'm considering not doing it, right? I know the obvious move is to do it, but I honestly... I'm not too fancy of Bruno Fernandes now. I know a lot of other content creators are saying to bring Bruno Fernandes in. He is on the thumbnail of this stream, but I actually think Saka outscores Bruno Fernandes. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. Is Saka to Bruno worth a hit? Right, let me know what you guys think. And let's see how many of you guys are doing it for a hit. Right, basically, I'm already considering not doing it for free, so. MLG Foxy says Saka to Salah for free. Saka to Salah, I like, because Salah, you will be using him for the rest of the season, basically. Right, so I do like that move. I've seen a couple of people on Twitter doing that move. I do like it, right? I do like it. GV says, between Estupinian and Chilwell, who is a better bet till the end of the season? I'd say Estupinian. I'd say Estupinian simply because of how many fixtures he has left. Yeah. Sorry, give me a moment. Right. Additional question, will Ergert play? Currently he's 75%, right? So I think it's hard to say whether he will play or not, but basically I wouldn't bank on that. I think I would go for someone safer, so probably Zuma. The move I'm considering is actually Rico Henry to Zuma, right? That's actually the move that I'm considering. It's for free, right? It's basically for free, but I'm booking in a -4, so I don't really like it, but would you swap Zinchenko or Henry out for a hit for one of Chilwell or Zuma? Already have Shaw, Estupinian, and Trippier. I would still say, okay, this really depends on your plans moving forward. But for me, because my plans are pretty stuck, right, that I want to get to this particular team in Game Week 34, which I'll show you guys as more people stream in soon. We're at 44 people now. By the way, if you guys are still watching, please drop a like on the stream as well so that it can reach more people. I'm trying to hit 5,000 subscribers as well. I kind of set a target. I was thinking about it during the international break, whether we should set a target for the channel. So I think 5,000 is a little bit of a stretch, but we can try to get there. So if you guys are watching and you aren't subscribed already, please help me out and hit the subscribe button. Yeah, so in terms of Zinchenko or Henry out for a hit, for my own plans, I basically have to do Zinchenko to Shaw simply because of the budget constraints, right? Because if you do Henry to Shaw, it's viable as well, but money will be stuck with Zinchenko. So in that case, you may or may not be able to afford moves elsewhere in your midfield, in your forwards that you want later on. FPL Josh says, morning bro, good morning. It is bright and early in the morning. How are you? I'm going March or Madison. Cap not feeling Rashford. What are your thoughts? March or Madison captain? Right. I did up the metrics. The metrics actually got Saka last week, and the metrics actually has March up top. Right. I'll show you guys later on. A little bit of a spoiler, but the metrics has March up front. Up top. Saka for Bruno, then Bruno back to Saka at 32. Assuming you're not on a free hit then. If you're not on a free hit, I probably would just keep Saka. What's up, brother? Where are you from? I'm from Singapore. I received this question quite a bit this week. Our ranks are quite similar. What is your strategy to break into the top 100k? I think I have to nail the free hit in Gameweek 32. I'm pretty set on a free hit 32. So I need to nail this week. Gameweek 29, I need to make sure that I get... I'm assuming that the average points would be around 100, close to 100, right? Because of the sheer number of people that are bench boosting, I think the average would be about close to 100. So at least in the top 10k, right? At least in the top 10k. So, or the top 100k as well. So if I do want to break into that, I think I have to score significantly higher than the average top 100k score, right? So hopefully I nail this bench boost, and then after that, the transfers leading up to that as well need to be... I'll show you guys the transfers in a bit, but I hope they pay off. I think the strategy is there, so hopefully it works out. And then I have to nail the free hit. Nailing the free hit in Game Week 32 is super important, because I'm assuming that game week, for those who already have used their free hit, right, that will be quite a tough week to navigate. So that's another jump there. And then I won't have any chips after that already, right? Just the bench boost and the free hit. So after that, it's just free transfers. But moving forward for the rest of the season, I think the plan to have that team for the rest of the season, I think is pretty alright. Alright, so hopefully that works out. Simon says, Saka or Rashford? Simon from Melbourne. Well, nice to see you in the stream. I would say, if you're talking about captaincy, I definitely go for Rashford. But if I have to choose one to start, I would also start Rashford. Yeah, I go for Rashford. Simply because of two fixtures. Have double Arsenal defense, Zenit or Gabriel to Shaw, or both out for Shaw and Newcastle defender. Definitely someone has to go. So I would say Zinchenko is the one I'd sell to Shaw. Yeah, I wouldn't go both. I wouldn't sell both. I think Gabriel has good goal threat, right? So I wouldn't sell both. All right, let's we have 52 people in the stream. Let's talk a little bit about chip strategy. Right, let's talk a little bit about chip strategy. So I released a video earlier on in the week talking a little bit about chip strategy, but I know some of you guys who have kind of nailed your... Right, this is the bench boost one. I want to show the free hit one first, right? So for those of you guys who have kind of nailed your chip strategy already, maybe this wouldn't be that relevant for you guys, but for those who haven't, or you're deciding whether you want to go for a free hit 32 or a free hit 34, I've kind of weighed up the pros of each side, right? And it would apply to different people, basically, whether a free hit 32 makes sense, or I've seen a couple of people on Twitter, in the Discord as well, shifting towards the free hit 34 strategy. So I'm just going to lay out the pros for each of the strategies, and then you guys can decide which one suits your team. Right, so instead of talking about the free hit 32 first, because that is an easier strategy to justify, I'll talk a little bit about the free hit 34 one. Right, so the free hit 34 strategy basically the value in it is that it is pretty difficult to get triple Liverpool and triple Man City, and also make sure that you choose the right ones leading up to game week 34 as well. So because of that, it will be hard to get to them, and they do have a good double game week in game week 34, right? So that is one of the main reasons why a free hit 34 is pretty good. You probably already have your Brighton assets, your Manchester United assets as well. So double game week 34 should be pretty alright in terms of Manchester United and Brighton, right? But Liverpool and Man City will be hard to get to. Triple Liverpool, triple Man City. So that's the first point. Second one is for those of you guys who actually think or you favor Arsenal for the rest of the season, you think they only have the Premier League to play for, you can keep your Arsenal assets. Right, going for a free hit 34 essentially means you're kind of forced to keep your Arsenal assets because they play in game week 32 against Southampton at home. So definitely you want them for their fixture. So that's another thing. And also you can lose your Liverpool assets after double game week 34. Right, that's for those of you guys who don't trust them enough. Right, if you don't really want your Liverpool assets for that long, then fair enough, you can lose them. And blank game week 32 initially felt like it was super difficult to navigate, but if you look at my team, right, previously before I made the Zinchenko to Shaw move, I actually was on this template with 0 Man City, 1 Chelsea, 1 Manchester United, and 2 Brighton. Maybe 3 Brighton, right, for my team. But basically, it wasn't that difficult to get to a team that plays in Game Week 32 with all 11 players. So because it is slightly easier to navigate, some people are thinking, right, the free hit in a blank game week does not have as high a ceiling as that in a double game week. So because that's the case, they prefer a free hit in 34. So basically, there's good reason for a free hit 34. I know there are a couple of people thinking about that strategy, right? But for myself, I'm probably gonna go for a free hit 32 instead. Right, so because I'm going to bring in Luke Shaw now, I'm considering bringing in Bruno Fernandes. But if I do bring Bruno Fernandes in this week, I'll lose Saka, which I don't really like. Right, but we'll get to my transfer plans in a bit. But basically, I intend to load up on United assets. Right, if I don't bring in Bruno Fernandes now, I bring him in next week. So eventually, I will have triple Brighton and triple Manchester United by the time we hit blank game week 32. So that's going to be tough for me to navigate, right? So I'd rather just free hit in 32, load up on my assets now, on my Manchester United and Brighton assets, sell the Arsenal assets, may not sell Saka, we'll see, right? And then after that, free hit the Arsenal and Liverpool assets in for their good fixtures in 32, and then use free transfers to build a good double game week 34 team to take me through to the rest of the season. Right, so let me know in the chat, right, what you guys think about this strategy. Right, have single game week players have to deliver this game week 29 like Saka, Martinelli, Kane, or any Arsenal, Tottenham defender, as we all play the bench boost chip. Definitely we're gonna have to rely on some single game week players for sure. Shaw or Estupinian or both. If both, who do I get rid of? Chilwell, Henry, or Zinchenko? Shaw or Estupinian, I think I want both. I would want both this game week if I'm honest. So if you can't get to Shaw, I think you prioritize Estupinian, right? But if you can get both, sell Zinchenko and Henry. Yep. I'm off heading down to the Etihad. Right, that is incredible. I've actually never watched a Premier League game live. I've always watched it on the television. So hopefully you'll get there one day. Maybe make a video. Right. Let's put up the team again. Why Rashford captain and not Mitoma? I would say that Mitoma is a little bit fatigued right now. Right, so I probably initially it was vice captain on Mitoma, and now it's vice captain on March. Right, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how I feel. Probably will stream until deadline if I can't decide. I still can't decide what I want to do with the team. whether I want to sell Henry or whether I want to sell Saka. Right, I'm going to show my transfer plans now, and let me know what you guys think of my transfer plans. So we're on the FPL.team transfer planner. All right, let's get busy. So this week, game week 29, I have 2 free transfers. Right, so the move that I've already made is Zinchenko to Shaw. Right, so this move has already been confirmed and pretty much locked in. Right, so I'll show you guys the thought process behind why I actually can delay the Saka to Bruno Fernandes transfer. Right, so let's assume that I go for the transfer. Right, let's say I go for Bruno Fernandes here, which is originally the plan. Right, the plan was to sell Saka for Bruno Fernandes. Right, then that's 2 free transfers used. Game week 29, I'll just bench boost. Doesn't matter how the bench is lined up. And then come to game week 30, right? This is how the team looks. The plan is to bring Haaland back, right? So assuming that I bring Haaland back in, right? I definitely have funds for that. So come to game week 30, Haaland is back in the team, and I can set it up pretty easily. I'll probably play Mitoma, and yeah, it'll look something like this. It looks something like this for game week 30, right? And captain Haaland if he's fit. Right, and then come to game week 31. This is where I've reverse engineered a move, right? So it may not make sense right now, but later on you guys will see. Because if I'm free hitting in game week 32, I can't roll a transfer. I mean, ideally I would want to roll the transfer, right? So because I'm free hitting in game week 32, I need to make sure that I make the transfer now in game week 31 so that it's recorded as my original team transfer. And then when I free hit, right, they would revert me back to this original team, right? So the plan is actually to sell Raya in game week 31 for Ederson, right? It'll make sense in a little bit, right? So I'll sell Raya for Ederson, probably start Ederson as well. That's game week 31 and my 1 free transfer used. Come to game week 32, that's where I'm free hitting. So I'll click the free hit button, and as you guys can see, the transfers is unlimited, right? But you will understand why I've made the Ederson move, because now in game week 33, I'm going to roll the transfer, right? And then come to game week 34, this is when it's the mega double game week, right? The biggest one after game week 29. The plan for this one is to sell Kane and upgrade Maddison, right? So I'm going to upgrade Maddison to Salah first. That's the first move for game week 34. Then I'll sell Kane to Greenwood. Basically, I'm shifting to a 3-5-2 formation, right, for the rest of the season, right? So if I shift to a 3-5-2 formation for the rest of the season, right, I'm gonna sell Kane and I'm bring him down to Greenwood and use the funds to upgrade Maddison to Salah, right? So essentially, once that is done, right, I find myself in a situation where I have the ideal. I guess ideal in terms of what I want moving forward, right? So Fernandes, Salah, and Haaland, right? I would think that most of us want to get to this structure for the rest of the season as well, right? So Fernandes, Salah, and Haaland will take me through to the rest of the season. I've sold Kane for Greenwood, right? And now the final move that I'm going to make, which will be for a hit in game week 32, is to do Rico Henry to Andy Robertson. Right, I can do Robertson. I'm not sure if I can do Trent as well. I think I can do Trent, but I can do Trent, but I think I favor Robertson a little bit more at this point in time. So assuming I go for Robertson, I can go for either of the Liverpool defenders, right? But basically, this is the team for game week 34, right? And I've only taken 1 hit, as you guys saw just now, right? So 10 doublers in game week 34, and it looks really strong. Yeah, it looks really strong. Right, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Will you captain McAllister? Alright, I'll show you guys my captaincy metric later on. But basically, for my own preference, I would captain McAllister as my first choice if I had McAllister. Then I'd go for Rashford, and then I'd go for March/Mitoma. Right, that's the way I rank my captaincy choices this week. Best 3 forwards and best 3 defenders, maybe some differentials. Best 3 forwards, I would say Isak is one of them, but I don't have him. Danny Ings in with a shout as well. And then either Ivan Toney or Ollie Watkins, right? So that's the 3 forwards. Best 3 defenders, Estupinian for sure. Trippier, definitely you have to have him. Probably Chilwell as the last one. But I don't have Chilwell. Is Maddison a captain option? I think he is a captain option, but he will be slightly differential. If you have a gut feel about Maddison, by all means. Henry to Trent for a -4. I probably wouldn't do that. I think Liverpool concede this week. Odegaard to Maddison for a -4. That one is slightly more tricky. I think you can justify. I probably would do it. Can you use both bench boost and free hit in the same week? No, that's not possible. Who has the better double game week, Shaw or Estupinian? Definitely Estupinian. Saint Ledger says, "Hi Leon from New Zealand." Wow. Do you think Haaland will be out for more than one game? Very tempted to go Saka to Salah, but it means my only route back to Haaland is to lose Kane. I feel like it's a little bit too risky. I think Haaland should be able to come back in game week 30 against Southampton. But basically, if you do Saka to Salah, there are merits to that. But you kind of put yourself in a situation where you need Haaland to not be fit. You definitely don't want Haaland. You definitely don't want to go without Haaland in game week 30 if he's going to start against Southampton, right? So you kind of force yourself to gamble a little bit on him not being fit, basically, which I think is a little bit too risky. And they're always a little bit coy about these kind of things. Maybe he's fit. Maybe he's more fit than we imagine, So I think it's a little bit too risky. Right? I wouldn't do it myself, right? But another thing that puts me off is also the Arsenal fixture in game week 30 for Salah. Right? Salah has let's move back to game week 29. Salah will play Man City away and Man City away, Chelsea away in game week 29, and then after that they play Arsenal. I think arguably these are the 3 worst fixtures for Liverpool. Of course, I mean there's a narrative that Salah performs well against big teams, so Eddie Cassie says, "Hi there. If I take a -4 to go Gabriel out to Chilwell, I can't get Haaland next week." I'm in the same situation as well. If I do Henry to Chilwell, that is. So I have to do a -4 the week after to get Haaland back. What to do? I can go Castagna or Zuma. Similar situation. I think Mings we can rule out. I think Mings isn't that good for this week. Castagna I'd also rule out. Zuma is actually the one I'm considering, right? Henry for Zuma. That's the move I'm considering. I will have to confirm my transfer in a bit. Chilwell or Shaw for this game week? I think Chilwell has the better fixtures, that's for sure. Tony to Ings for free and Odegaard to Salah or Maddison. I wouldn't do Tony to Ings for free. I just keep Tony. And Odegaard to Salah or Maddison. I think it really depends on the rest of your moves. As well as your transfer plans until game week 34. Right? If you have another way to bring Salah in later on, I think that could make sense. But I know there are a couple of you guys who really like Salah for big games. Right? So Brandon says -8 this week. Worth it to get in Shaw, Fernandes, and Estupinian. I mean those are all long-term moves. So I would be okay with those moves. But the only thing that I'm unsure of at this point is, alright, I'll show my team as well. Right, before we I'll come back to the transfer planner in a little bit. But basically, I'm not so sure that Bruno for Saka is worth a hit. Right? Let's see. I mean, we have 100 votes in the poll. Is Saka to Bruno worth a hit? All right, and 54% of you guys say no. I think it's not worth a hit as well. Is it worth doing Saka to Bruno for free then? That's my position. I'm not so sure it's worth a hit, right? But for free, maybe I've got to do it, right? So that's kind of the issue I have right now. Kane to Ings, nah, definitely wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do Kane to Ings. Henry to Castagna / Ricardo for a -4. I also wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Shaw in for Gabriel for free transfer. I would do that. Shaw in for Gabriel. Shaw in for Zinchenko. I think those are okay moves. March versus Mitoma captain. Right, I'll pull up the captaincy metrics in a bit. Odegaard to Madison for a -4 hit. I probably would take that. I mean, I'm gonna not be on the fence right today. I'm gonna try and take a side, right? So I think I would do Odegaard to Madison for a -4. Chilwell -4 or keep Henry. Already have Shaw and Bruno. Would be free hitting in Gameweek 32. The only reason why I wouldn't go for Henry to Chilwell for my own team is because it blocks other moves later on. So if it doesn't block moves for your team, then fair enough. Right, for those of you guys who are sending in your full team, it's pretty hard to read the whole thing. I think you guys can send me questions like Chilwell worth Bruno to Saka to Bruno worth a -4, etc. These kind of questions, and it's slightly easier to answer them. I can't go through all the teams, but I'll try my best. I have Henry, Estupinian, and Trippier. Should I switch Henry with Shaw or Chilwell, or just save a transfer? I think Henry to Shaw. I think I'd do Henry to Shaw. Yeah, I wouldn't save a transfer there, right? Sid Ledger says 115 viewing, like the stream. Thank you very much. Right, those of you guys who are watching, please like the stream so that we can reach more people. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers as well, right? It's a target that I don't know if we can hit. 5,000 subscribers. Don't know whether we can hit it, but let's try. I am on a free hit 32. Move Kane to Isak or someone else to release funds for future moves, or delay it. Just keep Kane. I think keeping Kane is fine. Should I do Odegaard and Haaland to Mitoma and Isak? Or Fernandes and Isak? I wouldn't sell Haaland this week. I think it's a little bit too risky. If you're on a bench boost though and you decide that you want to sell him, then Haaland to Isak, Odegaard to Mitoma. I do Mitoma because I favor the Brighton fixtures more. Leo Cheng says, how many free transfers have you got this week? I have 2 free transfers. I've already made 1 free transfer, which is Zinchenko to Shaw. Right, so already did that transfer. 1 more free transfer, I haven't decided, but I'm toying with the idea of doing Henry to Zuma. Right, I'm toying with that idea. Will Rashford start? I think he'll start. I think the signs are that he'll start. That's why for now the captain's armband is on him. The best 2 keepers for Gameweek 29, Kepa and Sanchez, need to make a move. I would say the best 2 keepers are Steele and Kepa. Right, I would say that. FPL K-Max says Martinelli to Madison for a -4. Sell Madison to Salah in Gameweek 34. Um, Martinelli to Madison for a -4. I think sell Madison for Salah in Gameweek 34. Yeah, that's normal. That one is alright. Martinelli to Madison for a -4 this week. I do Odegaard to Madison. I think Martinelli to Madison for a -4 is slightly trickier just because Martinelli is putting up better numbers than Odegaard of late. I probably wouldn't do it. Kane to Havertz / Isak to fund either throwing to Haaland in 30 or Madison to Salah in 31. Free hit 32. If you want to sell Kane this week, I would go for Isak. I'd go for Isak. I prefer Isak over Havertz. Best long-term keeper other than Kepa, De Gea, Raya, and Steele. Long-term keeper. I'd actually say Edison, to be fair. I'm going to bring Edison in Game Week 30. Based on my plans, I'm going to bring him in Game Week 31. Right, so probably that's where I go. Tony to Ings, 1 week punt before Ings to Haaland next week. If you have a free transfer to play around with, maybe. Gabriel to Shaw, Martinelli to Fernandez for free. Gabriel to Shaw is fine. Martinelli to Fernandez, heaps of money, any better move. Just make sure that you have funds to bring Haaland back in then. Right, but I think these moves are alright. Yeah, these moves are alright. I have Estupinian in March. Should I go for Fernandez or Brighton player? Definitely get either Mitoma or McAllister. I would prefer McAllister. FPL Josh says, been here since 500 subs. Mad how you've grown. Thank you very much. It's all thanks to you guys. Who are subscribing to the channel. Right, so we're gonna try and hit 5,000 subscribers. I'm gonna try and release more and more content for the later part of the season. And hopefully we can hit 5,000. Right, I mean, even if we don't hit 5,000, I'd still already be very happy. But at least we have something to work towards. Right, Realistically, what more fitness news will we get before the deadline? My feel is none, but appreciate your thoughts. I think fitness updates wise, we probably won't get any more. But in terms of leaks, I think we could get a Man City leak soon, because Team News and Ticks is pretty good with the Man City leaks. So actually, let me just check on Twitter before we move forward. If he's already tweeted something, maybe we can put it on stream. It's April Fool's today, so I wouldn't trust. I've already blocked myself out of like trusting too many sources on Twitter. I would advise you guys to do the same as well. Just take whatever you see with a pinch of salt. But Team News and Ticks, I would imagine that he wouldn't risk it on an April Fool's joke. I think the whole community would flip. Right, yeah, so nothing from Team News and Ticks for now. I'll keep a lookout for that, and if anything comes up, I will share it with you guys. Right, before we move on, we're going to take a look at Captaincy first. So this metric here actually got Saka last week. I have no idea why I did not follow the metrics last week. I went for Tony. For those of you guys who followed my team, I went for Tony. Right, but the metrics this week actually has March up there ahead of McAllister. Right, so okay, let's break it down. So the way I've done this table is I've taken all the double game week players. I'm gonna rule out captaining Saka. I'm gonna rule out captaining Kane as well. So whatever you see on the table now is probably the options that you guys are considering from all the double game week players. Alright, so we have the Brighton players, March, McAllister, Mitoma, there's Rashford, and there's also Bruno in this list. Then there's Isak, there's Maddison as well, and then Tony, Watkins, Havertz, and Salah, right, to add some variety for those of you guys who want to go different, right? So Maddison is actually really low, down below. Majority of this has comes down to the Leicester attack, right, which isn't doing super well when you compare it with other teams, right? It's only 3 shots. If you take a look at the shots on target per 90 column, they're actually the lowest out of all the other teams, right? 3 shots on target per 90. They have had pretty tough fixtures of late, right? They've played Brentford aren't easy, Chelsea aren't easy as well. They played in their last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the last 6 games, they've played Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Tottenham. I don't expect them to put up really good numbers. So 3 shots on target per 90 is probably affected by that. But they're playing Crystal Palace away and Aston Villa at home this week. So that could Maddison could return there, right, for sure. Right. But the rest of the options just far exceed his numbers, right? So we'll start with March first. And the reason why March is so much higher than McAllister, even though he has a lower XG, is because his expected assist is much higher. They have same XGI, right? And the expected points for March is very high as well, right? But the data for this particular set I've used includes a little bit of the time when McAllister was playing back in the number 8 role as well. So when McAllister was playing in the number 8 role, obviously his numbers weren't as good as March, right? So that's kind of why the numbers here kind of put McAllister as second. But for my own preference, like where I would go is I would go for McAllister first, and then I'd go for Rashford as my second choice. And then after that, I would go for either Mitoma or March, probably favouring March a little bit more simply because he's been resting the whole international break, right? He's completely rested. Mitoma has played for Japan, played pretty decent minutes as well. Of course, he scored a incredible header, if you guys caught up with the international break games for Japan, right? So the turnaround is pretty tight for Mitoma and Estupiñán as well, for those of you who followed Estupiñán. So I would say if I were to rank my top 3 captain options, I would go for McAllister first, then I would go for Rashford, then I'd go for March. So if I had McAllister in my team, I would captain McAllister, but I don't have him, so I'd probably just captain Rashford. Right, let me try and catch up with the questions. Who will be in your final 11? Kane or Saka or Botman or Henry? I'm bench boosting, so it doesn't really matter, but final 11, I think Kane would be on the bench. Saka would also be on the bench. And either one of Botman or Henry, probably Henry. Alright, so that's essentially where my team is at this point. Zinchenko and Saka, Shaw and Fernandes for a -4. That is the question. Let's take a look at the poll. Is Saka to Bruno worth a hit? 51%, 49%. Not helpful at all, but that's what it's been the whole week. The whole week. It's so close. It's just so close between all these players. Was surprised with everyone going for a free hit 32 plan. Are you on a free hit 34? And then if you're on a free hit 34, let me know what your strategy is for this week. I'd be interested to know. Best differentials in defense, I think it's Zuma. I think I may go for Zuma this week. Bruno for Martinelli, yeah, I would do that move. Daniel says Bruno or Salah in for Saka. That one really depends on how much funds you need, right? Because if you go for Salah, it kind of blocks you from other moves. So Taylor says, I really don't think it's worth selling Zinchenko for Shaw, TBH. Fair enough, fair enough. I'm selling him. I think Leeds will score, to be honest. So I'm actually selling Zinchenko mainly for the game week 30 to game week 36 fixtures, where it's pretty bad for Arsenal from a defensive point of view. So yeah, that's kind of why I've made the move, but I've done it for free, right? If for a hit, maybe a little bit more questionable. Tony on 9 yellow cards, should I hold or take a hit for Ings? Probably I just hold. I wouldn't take a hit to remove Tony. Cheap option for Gabriel on a -4. If you don't have Estupinian already, Estupinian. If you want to go cheap, maybe Zuma. But -4, I probably wouldn't. Right? There's not a lot of defenders that I bring in for a -4 in place of Gabriel. Erwin says, miss my members badge, but not for long. Right, Erwin used to be a member. For those of you guys who are interested in a membership as well, the link is in the description. The first link in the description will let you guys join the Discord, which I will hop on later on, right, to chat with the members before the stream, before the deadline, right, once I end the stream. Players I'm considering to sell: Henry, Zinchenko, Saka. Players I'm considering to bring in: Chilwell, Shaw, and Fernandes. Which trades would you make in my position? Right, Zinchenko to Shaw, I think I would do that. Henry to Chilwell is fine as well, but for me, I'm not doing it because it blocks my plans later on. Saka to Fernandes, is it worth a hit? The poll will let you know. 51% of you guys say it is worth a hit. It's not worth a hit. Danny Ward to Neto. Yeah, I think that's fine. Neto is actually predicted to do quite well this week because of 2 home fixtures. Boyan says, worth Ward to Iverson for -4. If you're bench boosting, I think you can kind of justify that move. But if you're already bringing in another keeper, I think I would go for Steele if you aren't tripled up on Brighton. If you are, the options aren't great. Maybe De Gea. Right. Give us a forecast of your bench boost. What score for your team this week? Just for fun. 150. Right, this is where my team looks at this point. I'm toying with Henry to Zuma. I'm toying with Henry to Zuma because I will need them for I will need that particular defensive slot for game week 30, 29, 31, 29, 30, 31, right? Basically, up till 31, I need to use that defender spot. So, I would say that Zuma outscores Henry in the next 3 game weeks. I would say that. So I think I'm talking myself into making the move already. Yeah, but if I'm to predict my score this week, 150 I think is a little bit generous. I'd be happy with that for sure. But I take anything from 130, 120 onwards. I think the scores will be very high this week. But I take anything from 120, 130. I think that's alright. Charles says sometimes a single game week player is better than a double game week player. Yeah, 100%. Preach. March or Mitoma for captaincy. I favor March if I have to choose between them. Yeah. Do you think Saka to Madison is worth a -4? I don't think so. Watkins for captain, your opinion? I wouldn't captain Watkins. I'd either go for a Manchester United player or a Brighton player. Yeah. Would you do Saka to Bruno for a -4 or Martinelli to Madison for a -4? Wow. Saka to Bruno for a -4. I'd actually side with the poll. I actually think I wouldn't do it for a -4. Martinelli to Madison for a -4 though. maybe not as well. Maybe not as well. Yeah, probably not. I just think that Arsenal playing Leeds at home, where Leeds have lost Tyler Adams, and majority of their defenders are nursing a little bit of an injury. I think I kind of favor the Arsenal boys, if I'm being honest. I mean, the way I see the game panning out is that Arsenal is going to have majority of the possession, right? And then they're going to create loads of chances. Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, probably the ones that are going to get in and around the box. And I actually fancy all of them, if I'm honest. Saka to Bruno or McAllister. And actually, Saka to McAllister, I think is fine. Saka to McAllister is fine. Estupinian play or not? I think Estupinian will play. I actually think he'll play. How many points are you hoping this game week? Yeah, I just said it. I think I would be happy with 120, 130. Saka to Salah for -4. And watching soccer more fun through the week. Worth? I mean, sometimes it's just nice to take a punt, right? It's just nice to take a punt. Kane to Ings. I would keep Kane. Ashmit says, never imagined I would be having no City and Liverpool players for City versus Liverpool. Same here. I think this is the first time, to be honest. I think this is the first time. Should I bench boost now or in a blank game week with 15 players playing? Just to top one particular game week. Right, generally the advice would probably be to bench boost in a double game week, right? So I think it has the higher ceiling as well. So I would kind of advise the double game week bench boost. Ashmit says I bought in Zuma as a differential. I'm actually thinking about it myself. Let's line up the transfer. So let's say I sell Rico Henry and bring Zuma in. Let's say I've got to be ultra careful with this. Let's say I bring Zuma in. How many points do you guys think this team scores? Southampton, Newcastle at home, Fulham away, Arsenal at home, right? The Arsenal at home one is pretty much dead and gone. But Southampton, Newcastle and Fulham, man, it's hard to look past it. There's also Sofal, but I probably would just go for Zuma if I'm honest. .0. I've already done Martinelli plus Zinchenko to Bruno plus Shaw. Is it worth going Saka to Madison for a hit? Nah, I wouldn't do that. Toby is a member, he's in the chat. I did a -16, change Areola to Everson because after bench boost you won't need two keepers. Zinchenko to Shaw, Badiashile to Chilwell, Enzo to McAllister, and finally Saka to Bruno because Bruno is nailed 90 minutes. Areola to Everson this week. I actually think Everson starts both, so I'm okay with that. Zinchenko to Shaw, that's fine as well. Badiashile to Chilwell, also moves that make sense. Enzo to McAllister also, and Saka to Bruno because Bruno is nailed for 90 minutes. Actually that's the thing. Saka is also nailed 90 minutes, so essentially how I see it is Bruno 180 minutes versus Newcastle away and Brentford at home versus Saka versus Leeds at home. I'm not so sure in a single game week shootout. If I just look at this particular game week, I'm not so sure Saka doesn't outscore Bruno. That's why I'm not so nailed about that one. It's tough. That's why I'm eyeing up this defensive transfer. May backfire. This is tough. This week is actually the toughest week in terms of decisions for my team. What about the yellow mark on Rashford? Should I change him to Mitoma? Rashford is probably fine. He's probably fine, and I will probably captain him. Me to Shaw or Zinchenko to Shaw. It depends on your budget, right? If you do bend me to Shaw, make sure you have funds for Haaland back in later on. Daniel says, do I do Odegaard too much for a hit? I think you do. But I would actually favor Mitoma and McAllister. Right, so that's where I'll go. Is getting rid of Saka for a -4 worth it? Bench boost activated. Getting rid of Saka for a -4. I just don't really like the idea of that, if I'm honest. I don't really like selling Saka. I'm kind of talking myself into keeping Saka. Ashmit says, will you be having enough funds to get Salah for his double game week? Yes, I will. Bruno or Madison until game week 32. Probably Bruno if I have to choose one. But I've gone for Madison simply because I have him since game week 2026. Captain Bruno or Mitoma? I wouldn't captain Bruno, so I captain Mitoma. Castagna for Botman / Zinchenko. Definitely not for Botman. Right, later in game week 36, we'll need Botman. Saka to Bruno and captain Bruno. If you have a good feeling about Bruno, then by all means. I just don't think Bruno does that well this week. I don't know. I may be the only one. Salah or Bruno in for Saka. Also, Fabianski in for Pickford for -4. This would get me to 11 double game week players in double game week 34. Fabianski in for Pickford, I think is a little bit risky. Right. Salah or Bruno in for Saka, I think. I really, really don't like selling Saka. Like, I'll be honest, I really don't like Saka. Nick Pope and Botman playing or not? It's likely they'll both start. Toby says, who is your captain? It will probably be Rashford. Let me reset. Alright, let's put Henry back in. Right, it will probably be Rashford. By the way, make sure you guys activate your bench boost if you are on a bench boost. The graphic or the design for the bench boost this year is a little bit misleading. Right, so make sure you have this blue little line surrounding your bench. Ricardo Pereira, a decent differential. I've considered Leicester defenders, but I've kind of looked away from that. I think I would prefer a West Ham defender. Yeah. Let me take a look at the West Ham defensive data. In terms of teams after the World Cup, the expected goals conceded stat West Ham is actually 15.7 expected goals conceded. Leicester 18.1. So West Ham actually has better data. I mean, just from the eye test, we can already see that West Ham are a better defense. I probably would go there. Is 1-Bissaka an option? I think he's done enough to get some starts. But Dalo is back as well, right? So that one is tough. Clement says, I took a -8 for Sanchez, Zinchenko, and Saka to steal Shaw and Salah. Kept Martinelli instead. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Captain March, Rashford, or Salah? I wouldn't captain Salah. So it'd be between a Brighton player or a Manchester United player for me this week. I would still captain Rashford, right? Simply because if I captain a Brighton midfielder and that particular one decides not to return, I mean, any three of them can return. McAllister, Mitoma, March, any one of them can return. So I'm better off just captaining Rashford, who I'm pretty sure if United scores, he does something, right? So that's kind of the thinking behind it. If I had McAllister, though, then I would captain McAllister. Who will score more this game week, Saka or Bruno? That is the question. That is the question. If I knew the answer to that, I would know what move to make, whether I do Saka to Bruno Fernandes or not. If I don't do Saka to Bruno Fernandes and Saka blanks and Fernandes scores heavily, and then I also book in a -4 because I've done Henry to Zuma, that will be disaster. That will be disaster. I'm just not so sold on selling Saka. Alright, let's get you guys in the chat to help me out. Let's get you guys in the chat to help me out. We'll go with you guys' recommendations. Right, let's end this poll. It's completely useless. 300 votes and it's almost 50-50. That's the trend for the whole Saka to Bruno situation. It's like no one knows. Alright, what should I do? What should I do? Saka to Bruno or Henry to Zuma? Let me know what you guys prefer. Let me know what you guys prefer. Clement says, kinda scared not owning two Brighton mates. Decided to go with Steele, Estupinian and March. Fair enough, fair enough. Shazwan says, Raya needs to be replaced. Nah, Raya doesn't need to be replaced. Bruno will be your rank killer this week. This is gonna come back and haunt me, Deadly Mantis. Like I said before, Saka to Bruno and Captain Bruno. Why, so many of you guys are saying Saka to Bruno. I've already done Martinelli plus Zinchenko to Bruno plus Shaw. Is Saka to Madison for an additional -4 worth it? I wouldn't do that. Saka will have a 12-pointer if that's sufficient. Ratatouille is inconsistent. I just don't like selling Saka. I just really don't like selling Saka. Ashmit says Saka will outscore Bruno this week. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Yes, FPL Diamond as well. That's what I want to hear. Clement says Bruno ain't going to do well. Newcastle and Brentford are good defenses. Casemiro is out. Salah has a much higher upside. Salah I'm not so sure for this week, but the rest of the points that you mentioned is 100% correct. Like, I agree with them that Newcastle and Brentford are good defenses. Like, I 100% agree with that. And Casemiro is out as well, which means that Bruno drops to drops to the number 8 role. Should I do Odegaard to Salah playing the bench boost? If you can afford it, sure, but make sure you can get Haaland back in, right? FPL Diamond says keep Saka. Why are you listening to these, man? I haven't decided. I may just stream until the deadline. I don't know. But I have to get to the Discord for the members though. Let me check on for those of you guys who are interested to join the Discord, I'm chatting FPL with the Discord members every day. The link is in the description, right? The first link in the description for those of you guys who are interested. Couple of guys in the Discord, they're moving for Bruno. You guys are already psyching me. I want to change. Should I just stream until the deadline? And you guys will know whether I do Saka to Bruno or not. And then I can regret. Let me know if you guys think I should stream until the deadline. Shazwan says, as a United fan, I also don't want to buy Bruno. Henry to Zuma will pay off the hit in game week 34 as well as his 2 home games this week. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same though. Why don't you do Henry to Chilwell instead? Yeah, JSK, I considered that, but I will block my move basically. I'll block my move my moves later on. So I don't really want to do that. Kane will blank and Spurs to lose. Bruno, 25 points incoming, don't trip. Alvin says, is it worth selling Henry for another double game week defender for -8? Reason being I'm doubled up on Brentford defense and not confident about it. I mean, that's precisely why, right? I honestly think that Brentford conceded in both games. Like, honestly. So, it may not be that bad to even take a hit to take a Brentford defender out. If I can't get Haaland back and we'll be on a -12, if I transfer Salah, will still be good. I like taking many risks. I mean, fair enough. Deadly Mantis says, I have Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, McAllister, March. That is precisely that's precisely my predicament. If I hadn't gone with Madison from game week 26, I wouldn't be stuck with Madison. I want Madison. I think he does well. But because I went for Madison in game week 26, I'm not going to take Madison out for Bruno Fernandes. And then now I have to decide whether I take Saka out for Bruno Fernandes. Kind of put myself in this situation. Alright, let me catch up to the chat. Alright, so you guys are saying I should stream until the deadline. Erwin says, yes, stream until the deadline because I can't get into the Discord till tomorrow. I can actually refresh the syncing, so you can actually come in today if you join today, but I think I will stream until the deadline. I think I will. FPL Diamond says, all these advisors here, who is in the top 10k? Right, drop you guys' ranks in the chat. Let's see whether I don't know whether I should do Saka to Bruno. So please let me know. Please let me know. FPL is more stressful than my studies nowadays. Yeah, 100%. Should I just go big and captain Salah? He always performs in big games. Yeah, that is the narrative. Jeff Jones says, how are we doing? How are we doing, Jeff? We're good, we're good. Just buy Zuma, sell Henry because you have 2 Brentford players and hard fixtures. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why, right? Just woke up for qualifying today, so very tired. Who do I sell? Kane or Haaland? Neither. Neither. Do you have your free hit for blank game week 32? Right, I'll show you guys my my transfer plans. And what would one striker get you? Yeah, Daily Mantis says predicted points this game week: Bruno 11, Saka 6. Yeah, I'm completely aware of that. Rashford captain, yeah, I'm probably gonna captain Rashford. 12k, 80k, 40k, 8k. Alvin says Saka to Bruno is bad vibes. I can't lie. I agree though. Bruno to Martinelli or Shaw to White? Bruno to Martinelli. You mean the other way around? Yeah, Bruno for Martinelli. I'm just trying to think which move I prefer or I would prioritize. I think I prioritize the defensive one first. 4k. Right. Let me show you guys my plan. Sugain Taran says Bruno has better fixtures. Deadly Mantis says if you are aware, then you keep Saka. Stop stressing. Right. Let me show you guys my plan. Oh, meanwhile, let me check team news and ticks first. Nothing so far. Nothing so far. Nothing so far. Team news and ticks. Nothing from team news and ticks so far still. So right, let me show you guys my transfer plans. Do show how you will get Salah for his double because I'm not having enough funds for him. Right, I'll show you guys my transfer plans now. Toby says, I see no other good captaincy other than Bruno, that's why I sold Saka. I'm assuming you want to captain a penalty taker. I think Rashford is fine still. Okay, let's get to this. Alright. Okay, I'll reset everything. We'll go through this one more time. But let's see what you guys think, right? So Zinchenko to Shaw is already done. Okay, Zinchenko to Shaw is done. And the funds is going to allow me to right, let's say I do Saka to Fernandes. I don't like this move, but I have the funds for it. I have the transfer for it as well. Right? Let's say I make this move. Come to game week 30, the move is of course Tony to Haaland, right? So 0.8 left in the bank. 31, the move is Raya to Ederson. 32, free hit. So I can't roll any transfers. In a game week where we are free hitting, we can't roll our transfers. So basically that's the reason why I've done Ederson in for game week 31. Even though it's not necessary, but I do it early so that it's recorded in my original team. I free hit in 32. Come to 33, the plan is to roll. Come to 34, the plan is a triple change. So Kane out for Greenwood, that's one. Maddison for Salah is another one. And Rico Henry to either Robertson or Trent, right? Let's say Trent. I mean, I can afford both, but Kane is where the funds are going to come from. So in Game Week 34, this is the team, which looks, honestly, it looks insane. If I set it up, this is the team for Game Week 34. Full of doublers. The only one is Trippier, who I do want in my starting 11 still for Game Week 34. So this is the plan, right? Double Liverpool, double Man City, triple United, triple Brighton, and then we have Trippier. Pretty alright. And I'll be keeping this team for the rest of the season. It's decent fixtures. There's the double as well. I still have Watkins there lying on the bench. There's Bournemouth for Kepa. I'll probably start him in this one. Loads of ways to play around after Game Week 35. I mean, 36 is probably a double for Brighton. 37 looks great as well. And then 38. I mean, this is it, man. This is it. I think for the rest of the season it's pretty alright. But let's reset and take a look at the case where I go for Zuma. Right. The reason why it books in an extra minus 4 is, let's say I do Zinchenko to, I'm already gonna, if I do it, I do it with the knowledge that I will have to take an extra hit, so it has to be worth that hit. So Shaw, and then we go Henry to Zuma, and then we roll, and then we keep Saka basically. 31, the transfer is still Tony for Haaland. Of course, if I don't have to make this move, then that'd be great, because I can do Saka to Bruno Fernandes. But basically I have to, okay, the hit is here. The hit can be here, right, where I go for Haaland and Fernandes here in Game Week 30. That's a minus 4 hit, right, at the top, as you guys can see. So minus 4 already, and then the plan after that is as per normal. So the difference between the first plan and the second plan is essentially an extra minus 4. So do we think that Zuma outscores Rico Henry by 4 points? I would think so. I would actually think so. And I'm talking myself into making the move. Would like some City news, that's for sure. Yeah, we're gonna get some City news from Team News and Ticks, assuming I stream all the way. I'm not sure. It depends on how many of you guys are still watching. We have 56 of you guys watching. Yeah, if you guys are still here and you haven't liked the stream, please drop a like on the stream. Jayski says, my gut tells me Rashford isn't the best captaincy this week. The best captaincy is actually McAllister. That's where I would go. Ashmit says, Kane and Maddison have great fixtures after Game Week 34. Yeah, understand that, but there's just no space for them in the starting 11. I mean, pretty much, you have to count the doubles as well. There's pretty much not enough space for them though. Right, there's no way I can have Kane and still have Salah for that double in 34. And then have Bruno and Haaland as well. Like, there's just no way. Plus, United double so many times, right? So, alright. It's decision time, I think. Let me see what the poll says. Saka to Bruno, 64%. This is the toughest decision I've had to make this season. Guys, Henry to Zuma, Saka to Bruno. Will I be streaming until the deadline? I can, but I mean, I guess usually how the views drop after all the other content creators stream. So usually I stop the stream after maybe as we reach 1 hour before the deadline, but I can try to stream until the end if you guys want it. Do you guys want me to stream until the end? Nicola says, do I start Haaland or Jensen? Haaland is likely Haaland doesn't play. We'll get the league soon. What do you think of a Mitoma captaincy? Saka could easily go off, don't risk it. It's exactly what I'm thinking. It's tough. What do you think of a Mitoma captaincy? I think that's fine, but he's third on my list. I feel Arsenal will score a lot of goals against Leeds. Exactly. Matthew says flip a coin. Should we do the wheel? Maybe we gotta ask the wheel. Have Saka, Martinelli, Henry, which one to transfer out for a hit? Probably Henry. You have 1 hour and 30 minutes, no stress. Right, you guys want me to stream until the end? Alright, let's do it. Let's stream until the end. Let's do it. May need to use the toilet, but let's see. Ashmit says we are here for you. Thank you very much. Honestly, you guys are the loyal ones, man. I have brought in Urgat and hopefully as a differential now he's flagged. Yeah, I think that one is a little unlucky, but I would say I'd go for Zuma. How about Zinchenko to Pereira? Thoughts on Zinchenko to Pereira? Nah, I wouldn't. I just don't trust Leicester's defense enough. Thoughts on Zinchenko, Saka, Odegaard, Haaland to Shaw, Madison, Bruno, Havertz for -8. I wouldn't sell Haaland. But if you are bench boosting, I guess there's reason for that. But the -8 looks alright. It's just the Saka to Bruno -4 that I don't really like. Everyone is comparing Saka this game week fixture with Bruno, but United have two fixtures and easy fixtures. Are they easy fixtures? Is Bruno going to play in 10? I'm not so sure. Alright, let us... Ashmit says just go with your gut. We all know that it's Henry to Zuma, right? You will not sell Saka, I know. Yeah, I really don't want to sell Saka. I would be very unhappy. Probably need to take a break from FPL. If I do Bruno to Saka and Saka pops off, I would be very, very unhappy. Right. I think it is time for... It is time for the wheel. We've got a call on the wheel. The wheel of names. Alright. Let's go. Let's go. Let me close the ad. Okay. Here we go. Saka to Bruno. Next one is Henry to Zuma. It'll be a joke if Zuma doesn't even start. It will be an absolute joke. Right, Irvin renewed the membership. Awesome. Right, thank you for joining as a member. For those of you guys who want to join the Discord, you can just click the first link in the description, just like Irvin. Awesome. Thank you for joining as a member. Let me sync the Discord as well so you're back in it immediately. Give me a moment. Let me pull up the Discord. Let me pull up the Discord. Right, I've synced as well. You should be in, Irvin. You should be into the Discord already. Yeah, you're all good. You're all good. Right. Henry to Sufal. Also possible. Also possible. I don't really have a funds issue though. So I think Zuma is actually safer for minutes. So that's where I'm gonna go. That's where I'm gonna go. Okay. I'm not gonna spin it a couple of times and then, you know, do a best of 3 or anything. We're just gonna do it one time. We're gonna do it one time. We're gonna do it one time. Alright. You guys ready? You know the psychology thing where as the wheel is spinning, then you will know what you're hoping for. We'll find that out in a bit. Ashwin says how does the Discord work actually? So basically there's loads of channels there. Let me see if I can pull up the let's see if I have the Discord view. Oh. Hold on. Right. Hopefully you can see this. But basically there's all the members in there. There's a prize league. There's a group chat. Loads of them are talking right now. Owen is back in as well. There's a channel for the Rate My Team, so I can advise you guys on what to do. Basically throughout the week we chat FPL. There's hot topics as well. And then there's all the no chat channels, right? The updates, polls, predicted lineups, injury updates, team leaks, match summaries, etc. etc. Right, so if this is interesting for you, you can join in the first link in the description. All right, let's get back to the wheel. Right. Let's go. Let's go. Henry the Zuma. The wheel has spoken. The wheel has spoken. Right. I think we confirmed the transfer. We confirmed the transfer. Shall we do that? Henry the Zuma. Oof. How's it looking? How's it looking? Yeah, I mean that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That is what I wanted. IMO do both? No way. No way. No way. Shazan says Henry the David Moyes. Shaw, Chilwell or Estupinian? Estupinian is the one I prioritize this week. Alright. Alright. I think I confirm this move. Books in a minus. Okay, let me just compare the fixtures. Southampton, Newcastle, and Fulham is when I would need Zuma. 31 they play Arsenal. That's not great, right? Okay, I think it's easier if I do it on the transfer planner. So let's say I do the Zuma move. Gameweek 20, I probably line up like this. Saka's on the bench. Kane on the bench as well. Zuma will be on the bench. Right, so it looks something like this. Gameweek 30. I would take a -4 to bring Fernandes and Haaland in. Zuma plays Fulham. I can play him in place of Estupinian. I can play Mitoma for Botman. Probably line up like this. Captain Haaland. So Zuma against Fulham away, that's pretty okay. Triple United, Leicester, up front looks good. Yeah, I think definitely Zuma is better than having Rico Henry for game week 29 and also game week 30. Come to game week 31, that's where there's a little bit of a headache. The move here is Raya to Ederson. But Zuma plays Arsenal, so I may be forced to play Botman. I'll start Ederson. Madison, I definitely wouldn't play. Yeah, this is the issue though. I may have to play either Madison against Man City away, or I play either March or Estupinian. See, the thing is if I had Rico Henry, then I would play Rico Henry against Wolves this week. So 32 is a free hit, so that's for sure. $33 is a roll. 34 is a -4 as well. And in 34, the thing is I'd be taking Zuma out. I'd be taking Zuma out for Robertson. So I think we do this though. I think we do this. Alright. I think this sits better with me. Keep Saka. We go for Zuma. Make transfers. Let me pull up the stream layout. So, Henry to Zuma, 0 points. How much would I need from Zuma for the hit to pay off? As long as in Gameweek 29, Zuma outscores Henry by 4 points. The hit in Gameweek 30 would pay off already. So anything beyond that is a bonus. Yeah, alright. I think we go for this. I think we can go for this. And then you guys will probably know my team, and then we can call it a day. We can call it a day. Thing is, he's just back from injury, so he hasn't played loads of games. 11-pointer in Gameweek 21 because of an assist. 15-pointer. I had him for this 15-pointer. I've had pretty good luck with Zuma, that's for sure. I've had pretty good luck with Zuma. Eddie Max says, if you're going to do a -4 in Gameweek 30 to get Fernandes in, you might as well do it this week. The thing is, I don't think Saka outscores Fernandes this week though. Sorry. I don't think Fernandes outscores Saka this week. Yeah. That's the thing, like I'm taking a gamble on it. Stallone says, as a Leeds fan, I fear Saka will haul today. Wolber out makes football very dodgy down that side. Wolber has made so many XG saving tackles since his arrival. Yeah, I mean, exactly. On top of that, Tyler Adams is also gone in the midfield, right? So I would assume that that's a game that's going to be 60-70 possession Arsenal. And there's just going to be loads of chances for Arsenal. So I think I've got to keep Saka. And if I keep Saka, then I think I go for Zuma here. Of course, I think I can delay the move for Bruno Fernandes. But I probably would do it next week. I don't think I would delay it that long. Even if it's for a hit, I don't think I would delay it that long. Especially since Saka plays Liverpool. Right, we're gonna make this move. I'm gonna do it now on the stream. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna keep Saka. I'm gonna stick with my gut. I'm gonna keep Saka. I'm gonna keep Saka, and I'm gonna go for Zuma. We're gonna do that. Stay tuned to find out how that works. Owen says, I asked my grandma if Fernandes will outscore Saka, and she said greedy people always fail. Wise words from your grandma. Yeah, alright. I think this is considering that I was so close to doing Saka to Bruno Fernandes when I think sometime on Thursday when he was due a price rise. I was so close to doing Saka to Bruno Fernandes to beat the Rice. And then I thought about it again and I was wondering why I delayed it for so long. And it's because I just think that Saka scores highly this week. Yeah. Alright. We gotta stick with our guns. If it fails, at least I went with my gut. At least it can sit better with me. If it fails, I think we just take it on the chin. So this essentially means no Bruno Fernandes, and I'm locked in for a -4 in game week 30. May not be ideal, but let's see. Ellie Max says, ask my nan and she said Salah holds more than anyone. Should I keep Rashford? Yeah, for sure you keep Rashford. Ashmit says thoughts on Ferguson in the future if he starts regularly. I just don't see a case where we can have free transfers to swap out one of that we can swap out one of March or Mitoma for Ferguson. So I honestly don't think like he will become an option later on. If you don't have though, then yeah. Every transfer I locked in yesterday got a price rise today. My luck has been good this week. To be fair, they've been due a price rise for the longest time already. Yeah, loads of players that rose this morning. They were due a price rise for the longest time. Watching Henry last game and he looked incredibly attacking, so I wouldn't. Thing is, how attacking can Henry be against United and Brighton? I don't know. Salah already disappointed in the last double game week, only scored 1. Who are you captaining? I'm probably captaining Rashford. Should I take another -4 to replace Ward, and who should I replace him with? Yeah, Steele, agree. Thing is, if you do have Estupinian already though, who do you go for? If you have Estupinian, McAllister, Mitoma, you're kind of stuck. You can't go for Steele. Alright, seems like you have an open slot. If you have an open slot, then Steele for sure. Alright. I think we go for let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna go for it. Brentford play 5 at the back against tough teams, so he will be very, very attacking. I honestly don't think he can bomb up that much against United, like if I'm honest. Okay, here we go. Chill Gamer really doesn't want me to do it. To be fair, 177 votes and 63% of you guys are asking me to do Saka to Bruno. I think I'm gonna have to stick with my guns on this one. I'm saving my budget to go Tony to Haaland next game week. Yeah, same. Alright. Thing is, if Haaland isn't fit though, I don't have to take a -4 next week. That's also something I can consider. Alright. Let's go. We're gonna do it. Confirm transfers. Locked in, boys. We are locked in. Transfers made. 0 free transfers left. Is this gonna backfire though, guys? Total transfers 39. Alright, let's set the team up then. I mean, it is what it is. It's exactly as is. Bench boost is active. Zuma in for Rico Henry. Yeah, let's go. Some of you guys in the chat. Thoughts on Alex Moreno, thinking of getting him for Henry instead of Zuma? Nah. I like his attacking threat, but these fixtures this week aren't great. I clicked it already. Boris, please don't spam the chat. Please don't spam the chat. Fangin says, don't get Zuma. I've already done it. Is Madison getting suspended if he gets a yellow? He's 2 away. Alright, Boris, March or McAllister? If you're going for one, I would choose McAllister. If you're choosing who to captain, I'd also choose McAllister. Right, Alwyn says still undecided on captaincy. Have it on March currently. I would like to captain McAllister if I had McAllister, but thing is I don't have him. I would like to captain McAllister, I'll be honest. Kane to Isak and in 30 Haaland for Tony, and then yeah. That is Kane to Isak this week though. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I'm capping Madison. Newcastle and Brentford don't concede lots of goals. I will be captaining Mitoma instead of Rashford. Okay, fair enough. The main issue I have with captaining a Brighton midfielder is that you don't know which one is going to score. With Rashford, it's kind of like if Manchester United scores, it's just going to be Rashford is going to be involved. Fabianski in. There's reports that he's back in training. I think he's at 50% to start this week. So let's see about that. Thoughts on Benrahma? I like Benrahma, but the thing is, we just don't have slots in the midfield for that. What if Manchester United get penalties? Shazwan. You had to. Tony to Haaland and Madison to Salah next game week is gonna be insane. So quickly though. Next game week, Salah plays Liverpool. Salah plays Arsenal. I think you can delay that one, or are you gonna make it next week? Jayski says thinking of rolling the transfer team is Kepa, Raya, Trippier, Botman, Henry, Zinchenko, Estupinian. Kepa, Raya is fine. Trippier, Botman is fine. Henry, Zinchenko, Estupinian. I think you can go for Shaw though. Madison or Bruno. I prefer Bruno for the long term. Madison for the short term. Alright guys. My team is locked in. You guys already know my team. So hopefully this works out. Let's just refresh it to make sure that it's confirmed. Yeah, I've done it. So this is where it is. Let's see how it works out. I mean, it just doesn't sit right with me that I'd be selling Saka, so that's the reason why I didn't sell him. Salah is a big game player, especially during the second half of the season. I'm definitely getting Salah, even though fixtures are tough. Alright, fair enough. Alright. Okay, I think this is pretty much it. Did I do a -4 this week? No, the transfers are for free. I think we can end the stream here, guys. Let me just check if there's any news from Team News and Ticks. Let me just make sure. If you guys have any last questions, just pop it in the chat. I've already made my transfer, so you guys already know the team. Team News and Ticks. Nothing so far. So that's it. I think we go with this. Captain David Moyes. Who should I captain? Salah, Rashford, or Brighton mid? If you in order, my preference is McAllister, Rashford, Mitoma/March. Alright, just before we end the stream, I just wanted to get you guys to help me out, do me a favor, and before you leave, we are currently on, okay, there's only 25 of you guys left, but we're currently on 3,781 subscribers. So I don't know, let's try and hit 3,800 today. I don't know, let's try. I'll leave it on the screen for a while before we end the stream. Hopefully a couple of guys stream in and like the stream. Let's hope. Do you think it's worth it to take a -4 to sell Saka to Salah? Maybe it's my own opinion, but I actually don't think that. I think Saka scores this week, but I think not so much to the point where he outscores Saka by so much. Right, so yeah. What happens if Saka scores and Salah doesn't perform? I mean, it is what it is then. It is what it is. Alright. Okay, I think we just call it a day. I think we are thank you, Mr. Mays, for subscribing. Thank you very much. Shaw for Henry or Zinchenko. Depends on budget, as I mentioned. Depends on budget. Right. I'll just leave it here. For those of you guys who haven't subscribed yet, please help me get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Yeah, just help me out and click that button. Saka getting a 20-pointer. I'm calling it. I hope so. We're going to hope for a Zuma bullet header, and we're going to hope for a Saka hat-trick. That's what we're going to hope for. Alright, we're going to call it a day. We're going to leave it here. Thank you guys for everything, for the support this whole year as well. I couldn't have gotten to this point, right, if you guys didn't subscribe or didn't support. So really appreciative of all the support, especially those of you guys who are still watching as well. Right, so we're gonna leave it here. I think I won't stream until the end. There's loads of other content creators that you guys can join their streams as well. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one, and I will catch you guys very soon, right, in the game week 30 content. There's only a couple of game weeks left, 9 game weeks left. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Yeah, I mean 9 game weeks left. Let's push on. Alright, and all the best for game week 29, double game week 29. Right, bye-bye.